So it's this ad, I click on it and I'm going through the sales funnel and I was like, holy shit, like everything just started making sense with what these guys are doing. Because like reading up on all these Russell Brunson ClickFunnels stuff and like trying all this paid media, and I was like, man, these flashlights are like $2-3 USD. Like I know that. And then, you know, these guys are selling them for like $100. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. You know, I was like, why would people pay $100? But then I thought like, if most of that money goes to like your media spend, like you could probably get enough conversions to like make a profit and blah, blah. And I was like, just thinking about it more. And I was like, shit, like that's how these guys are doing it. You know, it was like such aggressive marketing funnel. And I was like, I'm going to try selling flashlights. So I jumped on and I was... So it's this ad, I click on it and I'm going through the sales funnel and I was like, holy shit, like everything just started making sense with what these guys are doing. Because like reading up on all these Russell Brunson ClickFunnels stuff and like trying all this paid media, and I was like, man, these flashlights are like $2-3 USD. Like I know that. And then, you know, these guys are selling them for like $100. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. You know, I was like, why would people pay $100? But then I thought like, if most of that money goes to like your media spend, like you could probably get enough conversions to like make a profit and blah, blah. And I was like, just thinking about it more. And I was like, shit, like that's how these guys are doing it. You know, it was like such aggressive marketing funnel. And I was like, I'm going to try selling flashlights. So I jumped on and I was...
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of The Robust Marketer. This is our first episode back after Christmas and after Affiliate World Conference, our first podcast live in 2018. It's also the first podcast I've ever done with someone actually in my studio here. Today we are super lucky to have James Petrellis from Direct Offer Club. I met James when he came to the Facebook Elite Retreat, which was the mastermind that we held after Facebook Mastery Live in Bangkok when we were in Phuket. And right away I could tell this guy was legit. And I think he felt the same, because shortly after we ended up meeting just sort of randomly in Las Vegas, having a good time there. And then he even decided to come all the way to Victoria. And he's had a series of adventures that I cannot get into on the podcast, but we've also continued our amazing talks that we had all about the future of e-commerce, the role of affiliates in the e-commerce game. I'm really excited to have this conversation for all of you here today as the first podcast of 2018. So welcome to the Robust Marketer, James. How you doing?
Thanks, Eric. Doing very well. Happy to be here in Victoria.
So let's just figure out how we're going to sit here, first of all, on this sort of casting couch. Sorry about that. But why don't we start by telling the audience about your sort of marketer's journey?
Okay, cool. So so I've been in e-commerce for about 5 to 6 years. I actually, if you want to go all the way back, if you're going to do the whole thing, we'll start from scratch.
Might as well.
I started my first e-commerce business when I was 15 in high school. I was selling home security alarms on eBay, which is kind of weird and random for a 15-year-old. But my dad runs a little like security installation company, so I would buy alarms from his suppliers and then sell them on eBay. And at the time, I was working at Burger King, or in Australia, it's called Hungry Jack's. So I was making $5.90 an hour. And I was working maybe like 30 hours a week, like after school, and like doing that whole thing. And then, then I started this little eBay business, and like, I was making like within like 2 weeks, I was making around $800 a week in profit. And I was like, shit. And I was in high school, and like, I was just in class, and I couldn't concentrate. Like I didn't care what these teachers were telling me, because I'm like, you guys are probably making less money than me right now, and I'm sitting here in class. Like it was crazy. So that's what got me the bug. That's what got me like really excited about like online marketing and making money on the internet and all that sort of stuff. So I did that for like my last couple of years of high school, and it was like up and down. I ended up getting all these competitors jump on board after a while, and then the problem with eBay and like places like eBay and Amazon is like everything just becomes a price war. So unless you are the cheapest, like for most things, like you're pretty much like that's it. So
because people just sort by least expensive.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's like a commodity type thing.
Totally.
So that didn't really work out. After a while, I probably, you know, if I know what I know now, I would have made it work. But so yeah, that ended up dying down. Then I ended up like working a couple of jobs. Like I worked with my dad for a little bit. I worked in a in like a cell phone store. It's called Vodafone. I learned a lot about like sales and like being a lot more like open and being like a better person from that whole role, because it was just like constantly like we earn like commission on sales, so it was constantly like cold approaching customers and making that happen and
building a relationship.
Building a relationship. Basically like learned sales and just like got like heaps more confident as a person and stuff like that. So that was a really good experience. And then I started my first e-commerce, like proper e-commerce business, I guess, back in 2013, and it was a detox tea company.
Nice.
At the time, like Greta, exactly right. Yeah, so it was basically inspired by Greta to build this business, and it was a time when there was really not many brands on Instagram. Like, I mean, Greta rose like she had a company called Skinny Me Tea, and that was, I think, like literally one of the first. Like, she was one of the first people to actually do this on the whole platform. And at that time, it was really, really easy to make money as a brand promoting yourself on Instagram. There was so many very, very popular accounts, like people with 10,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 1 million followers, and all these people were like getting hit up by people like us, getting offered, free products and payments to do sponsored posts, and that became a thing very, very quickly, and it was very, very profitable for everyone. So it was, within like, we had this little thing kind of running on the side for like, it was probably like close to a year, right? Where we did nothing. Like, it was just me and a business partner. We had like zero involvement. We couldn't really be, we had another thing that we were doing full time, and this was like a little side project. And then it just got to the point where we were like, hang on, like we should really dedicate time to actually, like there's so much money on the table here, and we're just like, we don't even care. So what we did is like, me and my business partner were like, let's sit down for like at least 6 to 7 hours a day and just like figure out the whole Instagram influencer thing. And from the day we started that to like within the first month, I think we went from like $100 of sales a month, like, it was like a nothing business, to doing $4,000. And then the next month we did...
A day?
For the month.
For the month, okay.
And then the next month we did 14,000. The next month we did 30,000. The next month we did 50, 60.
Amazing.
And then, and then at the time it was like, the margins were ridiculous. Like we were making, I think at the time it was like 80 to 90, it was like 80, it was around 80% like net.
And this
margin.
Is just on influencers?
This is just with influencers, yeah. Because it was a time when you could like message someone that has 150,000 followers and tons of engagement and be like, hey, we love your account. We want to send you free product. All we want is return is like, if you like it, put up a post, tag us, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? And, or if you do like 3 or 4 posts throughout your like detox journey, and like let your followers know the results and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like we would email, we knew that if someone posted, like we'd make money, right?
Yeah.
Like you couldn't really track everything properly, but like you'd see that when a post goes up, if you look at the times of our sales and when the post was up, like you'd see the spike in sales. So like we knew that worked. So we're like, well, I guess like what you should do when you're starting a business, I think is like 80, like even like 90% of your time should be spent on a revenue generating task. So we're like fuck everything else. Let's just do this like from morning till fucking night, right? So we were emailing, I think like it was like 100 influencers a day each.
Wow.
Probably more than that.
Like manually.
Just
right? Hammering.
Yeah. Because I'm all for automation and like outsourcing and that stuff. But I very strongly believe that when you're starting, like you have to do the shit yourself. You figure out the best way to do it. And then once you've like optimized it, then you can
systematize it or even or put it out to someone else.
Yeah, exactly right. But like make it effective first.
Yeah.
Right? Because like there's a difference between efficiency and effectiveness.
That's true.
And like being efficient would be like, cool, like my time is valuable, like I want to outsource this to someone else. But if I'm outsourcing like an ineffective task, then like it's you're not going to get the results, right? Exactly. So we just sat there for like weeks on end, just like emailing, like optimizing the way we message them and our process and like when we ask for their address and all these things to get like the best results from every email we sent. But it was good. At the time, we're getting like over 50% of emails we sent would end up in an influencer posting about us. Right?
Back then, how were you?
And this was without payments. We were not paying, like we didn't pay anyone anything.
You just sent them products.
Yeah, like the first year was like just sending product.
How did you get their emails? Were they built into their profile at that point? Because you couldn't DM either at that point, could you?
No, you could DM.
You could DM,
but like,
okay.
So we DM'd as well, but we would, so if the email address was there, we would email them straight up. If it was not there, we would DM them asking them for their email address.
Okay, gotcha.
Both were effective. The problem was like with DMing, like it was limited to like 30 every few hours or so. So like you'd have to be really careful.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to get our account shut down and stuff like that. So we're really particular. But that like kind of changed our lives. Basically, like before that, we had this other little business. We used to do like audio visual installations. So we'd install like home cinema projectors, TVs, and stuff like that.
That's time for money.
Time for money.
Yeah, you're not going to get rich
very
that
hard
way.
to scale.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a broken business model in the sense that like most of our revenue came from wall mounting TVs, and that requires 2 people to do, and it only make like a $200 profit per job. Yeah. So it was good for us, right? It was mostly cash.
Cash
so,
in
like,
your pocket. Yeah.
We would literally just go like do like 3-4 jobs a day. Get $200, like get $100 per job each in our pocket.
Yeah.
Right. And then go home and just like watch TV for the rest of the day. It was like an easy life.
Yeah.
But then got over that. I got sick of like crawling in roof spaces and like breathing in insulation and running cables and all this shit. And I was like, no, we're smarter than this. Like, we're so much smarter than this. We can, Anyway, so what happened with this like Instagram brand that we built was like we ended up making like. We didn't have to like be anywhere, just like work off our laptop. We used to do our own fulfillment. Eventually we got someone else to do that. Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, I remember when you told me your story when we were walking on the beach, what was the aspect of it where you were sort of down to your last...
I'm getting to that.
You're getting to that, sorry. I thought, so you already went up and there's still a...
This is what's so much worse, right? Because so I'm like rambling a bit, but basically the brand was called Bar and Body. And it's funny because we're talking about it, right? Like most people, like now everyone's talking about like, shit, you got to build brands, you got to get away from direct response.
Yeah.
I kind of like did the opposite, and I'll explain how and why. But so we're making like, I think we're probably making about a $30,000 to $40,000 profit per month. So we're paying ourselves like really nice wages. We're living in awesome apartments, like ridiculously awesome places in like best parts of Melbourne, and just like traveling a lot. And it was like a really easy lifestyle, like printing money. And we're just like, you know what, like, I mean, that's not like crazy money like these days, but like being in this affiliate world.
And how old are you at this time? You're 20.
I was 20. Ooh, how old was I? I was probably like 24.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was amazing, right? Like it was basically like all I wanted to do in my life was like have an online business and like, make money online, be able to travel, do all those things. So in my mind, I'm like we've made it. Like, we've made it, right? Like this is it. This is done. But we got lazy because it was just way too easy to like with our eyes closed, we're like, this is just such a simple system. Yeah. And it just worked, and like the overheads were like nothing.
And you're still just mailing influencers manually. Influencers, and you're maintaining the relationship with the other ones, or are you sort of churning them at that point?
We're doing a lot of churning, but at the same time, there was certain ones that worked well, that we'd like keep hitting up and then like reusing them.
And people would be doing a journey. Like, how long were the journeys? Like, would people be posting about this for a month at a time, or was
between
it like
2 weeks? We had a 14-day and a 28-day.
Okay.
So it was like, so it was usually like over a period of a month. We'd ask them to make 4 posts over a period of a month.
Yeah.
So look, we didn't like. There's other people that did this whole process like a lot better than we did, right? But we were just like, fuck it, like it's making like we don't whatever, right? We got lazy. It was easy. So essentially what started to happen in that space was like so many more brands started coming to the picture. There's all these like Frank, I don't know if you guys remember, like Frank Body is like this coffee scrub that just went crazy in Australia and the US, and same model, just really good messaging, really good branding, just
imagery,
like style, like those guys like have absolutely nailed it. And there was like, but basically what was happening was like, I think at one point I could probably count like 200 different detox tea companies, right? Like running posts on Instagram. So what happened was all the influencers, good and bad influencers, were getting hit up every day, right? Like all these different brands, all these different products, and they couldn't keep up. They're like, well, I can't put up 20 fucking posts in one day of 20 different products.
And I don't need 20 detox teas.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like,
free products.
So they were like, we're going to start charging for this shit, because obviously it's like worth something. So people that used to post for free were like, oh, now I charge $50 a post, or $100 a post, or $200 a post. And we're like, okay, cool, we're just going to adapt to the time. Like, our margins are big, but if we go from an 80% margin to a 20% margin, but if we're doing like tons more volume, then who cares, right? So we started doing that. And then we kept going. And what we didn't do was we didn't like diversify into like additional products and like monetize our existing customers with that brand. Okay. Like we had like organic, like we didn't even like we had no retargeting back then or anything, right? And so like, people would come back naturally. Like we used to have like 30% of customers would come back and rebuy.
Wow.
On their own without us even like asking them to. Which I guess was a good thing about having like a really big, good Instagram following is because like they're browsing their Instagram page and they keep seeing your posts. So I guess when they run out, they're reminded and they come back and buy. So yeah, that was good. But we didn't like I said, like, you know, we were selling the tea for like $30, and then there was no like real upsells. There was no real follow up. It wasn't. You know, we didn't do any of that stuff. And then so what ended up happening is because we like wasted so much time not doing any of that, it got to a point where we're basically like making like our margin just got thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And then
because your LTV wasn't growing.
Yeah, and it was the same time. Exactly right. LTV is like literally everything in this side of the game.
Yeah.
And then what happened was Instagram also started like changing their algorithms, and like posts would get less reach, and they started Instagram ads. It was that time.
And what happened there was it went from like a chronological system essentially where it would just sort of, you'd see the posts that were in real time sort of, and then it went to a system that was algorithmic where it would test your posts to a small subset of your audience, and depending on the engagement in that time, it would then go big or not.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know if this is just like a conspiracy theory or not, but like we were certain like sponsored posts, like sponsored, if you look at like an influencer's page, sponsored posts would get less engagement than their organic posts.
Yeah.
And it was like two reasons. Like one, like people were getting overseeing fucking tea posts, so they didn't like them or didn't care about them. But two, I think like Instagram's algorithms would actually like detect sponsored posts, and they started like giving them less reach, like as they were releasing their ad platform. Could be true, could be not true. I don't know.
Love conspiracy theories.
I think either way, more than anything, like the like reality was like people were getting over it. As in like Instagram users were just no longer, they were kind of blinded to sponsored post ads.
Yeah.
So everything just got more difficult. Got to the point where we're basically making like very thin margin, basically no margin, and then we were just in this rut, right? Like we were just stuck, like couldn't really like, we're not creative, like we're more data guys, like we couldn't really just like excel in the like social brand space like Frank Body and stuff we're doing, and we're just like, and we're just, honestly, we're just lazy. It was pure laziness.
Yeah.
And then it crept up on us to the point where it was too late to fix. Like it went past the point of no return. And we were like, shit, we're kind of fucked right now. Like we got to the point where like we kept money in the business account for like tax and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is something you should all do, because there will be a tax bill. Like you got to make sure you
even for crypto.
Holding crypto, everything. Like make sure you know exactly how much tax you need to pay, and like make sure you have that money.
Death and taxes, the two certainties, right?
Exactly right.
So don't fuck around with the tax man.
Yeah. So we were holding money for tax and stuff, and then like, so like it was always in the back of our mind. And then like as this started happening, we're like losing money. We're like trying to invest money in like certain types of influencers and posts and ads and stuff. We started like burning through that money, right? So it got to the point where like we were barely like pulling like income in. We had to like drop our wages, and like we were like just getting by,
and it was diminishing all the time.
Diminishing like big time. And then so like I knew, I was like, okay, so like next month we're basically like broke as shit. I don't know what to do right now. My business partner was in the same position. He had given up. He would like literally like just stay at home and like sleep all day and like wake up and like wasn't doing anything. Like I wasn't doing anything. Like we're trying, like we wanted to, but we're just lost. We're like drowning. And then it got to the point where I'm like, shit, I'm gonna end up owing like $150,000 to the tax department, which we don't have right now. And then our business bank account got to the point where it was like nothing. And then I had a business credit card. It was a personal liability business credit card. And we had used that for like bits and pieces like over the years. And we kind of like would pay off the little like repayments. We didn't really care about it, but it was there. And it was a $10,000 limit, and it had like maybe $3,000 or $4,000 left. So I started playing with that. And I thought, like, I said to my business partner, I was like, you kind of like focus on the Instagram stuff, but like there's like world of people making money online, not on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like direct response, like banner ads, AdWords, like Facebook, like whatever, right? Like paid ads, trackable shit.
Yeah.
You know, affiliate stuff. Like I remember, like I knew about affiliate marketing. I was like 14 when I heard about like ClickBank or whatever and all that shit. And I was like, you know, there's like, I need to figure this shit out, right? So I'm like, you focus on running what we're doing, and then I'll try some new things and see how we go. So I started learning more about sales funnels, and instead of having like an e-commerce site, like a branded e-commerce site, I like switched over to ClickFunnels, and I started building landing pages and stuff like that for the tea. And I started running Facebook ads, and I was getting conversions and stuff like that, but it just wasn't like, I couldn't scale it. I just couldn't get it to be like super profitable like it was with Instagram. And also like, we're running out of time. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't...
You're
like,
literally on borrowed money at that point, too.
I'm on borrowed money, right? Like, I don't even have, like... every day is, like, a massive problem, right? Yeah. So then, like, I would go to the office, like, try a bunch of shit. It wouldn't work. I'd go home. I'd stress about it at night. I'd wake up, and I'd be like, I gotta go and do this again. Yep. Like, go to the office, like, buy ads, fail, lose more money.
Because you weren't changing enough. You know what I mean? You weren't refreshing. You weren't like, it was sort of like just going hard at the same thing.
Exactly right. And like, I was also like, in my mind, I'm like, shit, I'm like failure. And I'm like trying to like deal with all that. And then like going in and then like actually physically failing at what I was trying was like reinforcing that. And I was like, this is really fucked up. Like, it's a different story if like if you've never made any money online and you're trying to get into that space and like you have nothing and you're like trying to build it and figure it out. It's like, it's an exciting time. Yeah. But if you've kind of been there making money and then you lose all that and you lose the ability to do it, that's like a whole new level of fucking shit, rock bottom. Right?
And just like, over time, having it drift away from you. And not like, over the course of months, I guess?
Yeah,
over the course of,
I'd say months, right? And then it's just like, it gets to this point where you're like, it's just the worst feeling because I was just like, fuck, maybe I should have listened to my parents and like gone to fucking university or like gotten a normal job.
Stayed installing televisions
or
something.
Exactly. Or like just like, like stuck to one thing that's like going to get me like a consistent, like guaranteed income and all those things. And I was like all my friends from high school are like, you know, they have jobs. Like they make their $80,000 a year. I'm like, why didn't I do that? Like I really fucked up. And so it was a really shitty time. And then it got to the point actually where like I was like, I never knew what like a panic attack was or what like anxiety was back then, but it fucking just hit me. Like, I don't know what happened, but like I went away on this camping trip. We spoke about this. Went away on this camping trip, came back, and when I came back, it was essentially like just when I was away, like because I was away from technology and everything, like everything is kind of like that all like bottling up. It just hit me, right? And I just had this massive panic attack. And then
because it's like when you're in the day-to-day, you can always propel yourself forward. You're always getting more dopamine hits, and you're always like, but I can imagine that you disconnect, you go to the wilderness, and all of a sudden it's just like,
and all this financial stress and everything, and then I'm just out of the wilderness, and then out of nowhere it was just like I just woke up like sweating in this massive panic attack.
Sounds like a walkabout.
Yeah, well, it was fucked up. And then so I got back, and I was just like trying to figure it all out, and like I would walk to the office, like I lived like a 10-minute walk to my office, right? So I'd get up in the morning, I'd walk to my office like almost shivering, right? And I literally like, this happened like for days where like I'd get to the front door in the office and I'd be like, I can't do this. Like I just got this massive like anxiety and I'm like, I gotta go home. So I'd literally just turn around, walk back home, go upstairs, go to my couch, like put TV on and just literally like curl up in like the fetal position and lie there and be like, I'm so fucked. Yeah. I was like, everything just, absolute worst.
Dark times.
Dark times. And, so then, but I just like pushed through, kept like playing around with ClickFunnels and all this stuff like that. And then I realized like with direct response, like the brand doesn't matter, right? So like, why am I still trying to sell a $30 tea product? Right?
When that market had been saturated for like a long time. Yeah, it's been saturated.
Yeah. I'm like, I can like, you know, I had like a ton of experience with product sourcing, like international fulfillment, everything involved. Like there's like, even though we're failing, like I have like a ton of like a wealth of knowledge from experience from running that business. Yeah. Where I was like, I can sell any product I want. Like it doesn't have to be anything. So I just like happened to like this is where it all starts, right? Like I happened to come across a flashlight product, like flashlight ad, sorry, and at the time, flashlight wave was big. It was everywhere. So, and as a kid, like I've always loved flashlights. Like I always wanted to have
basically lightsabers, right? Like,
they're amazing. Yeah, and like the smaller and more powerful they are, like the more excited I get. Like, they're just fucking awesome. So anyway, so I was looking at I was like, you know what? Like I'd love to sell flashlights. It's a fun it's a cool little product, right? So it's this ad, I click on it, and I'm going through the sales funnel, and I was like, holy shit, like, everything just started making sense with what these guys are doing. Because, like, reading up on all this Russell Brunson ClickFunnels stuff, and, like, trying all this paid media, and I was like, man, these flashlights are, like, $2-3 USD. Like, I know that. And then, you know, these guys are selling them for, like, $100. And I was like, that's fucking crazy, you know? I was like, why would people pay $100? But then I thought, like, if most of that money goes to, like, your media spend, like, you could probably get enough conversions to, like, make a profit and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, just thinking about it more, and I was like, shit, like, that's how these guys are doing it, you know? It was, like, such aggressive marketing funnel, and I was like, I'm going to try selling flashlights. So I jumped on, and I was like, I copied their funnel exactly, like, on ClickFunnels. Like, I just, like, saw exactly what they're doing, and, like, every single pixel, I, like, did the exact same thing, right? And
common affiliate tactic.
Exactly right. Yeah, at the time, it was more like desperation. I was like, I just need like a win, like just a little fucking win.
You saw the guiding light, you know?
Yeah. And my business partner, he was saying, is like, because I was talking about all the anxiety and stuff, and he was like, when's the last time you had a win? Like in anything, not just business, like in life, like in general, like when's the last time you had like just a little win? And I'm like thinking. I'm like, honestly, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, would have been the big T days. It would have been the...
Yeah, it was back then, right? Yeah. And then also, like, all my focus was on, like, business. So, like, all my hobbies that I used to be into and all that shit, like, just disappeared.
Yeah.
So it was literally, like, when that failed, it's like, life has failed. So that's, like, a piece of advice. Like, don't put all of your eggs in one basket emotionally. Like, have your hobbies, like...
Maintain,
do things that you like, diversify, like, where you put your emotions. At the same time, like if you are building something, like it does require 100%
incredible
focus. This is like a paradox, I guess. You know, like there's on one hand, it's like diversify your emotions, like make sure you have different hobbies and stuff like that, so that if something does fuck up, like you've got other things that make you happy that you can like continue with. But on the other hand, it's like if you want to be successful building a business, like it does require laser 100%.
It does, but I also find like even within those moments of like laser focus, like taking the time to go, for me it's hockey, I'll go play hockey or cricket or something, and I'll make the time for those things, and it's like during those times, or even a walk or things like that, I find like I'm able to think of, reset.
Exactly. So
exactly right. I feel some kind of balance. It's funny, Paul J just did his video on obsession.
So
that's one. Check out Paul J. Paul's
video. Check that out.
Obsession.
Yeah, definitely. You got to be obsessed. Like you have to be obsessed. But like again, like remember to like take the time to go for those walks, do those things. That's actually super important, and I think that's something that like a lot of people in this industry don't think about or don't do as well. There's like a lot of stress heads in the affiliate world, and I feel like everyone should kind of like take a step back and go for those walks. Definitely. So anyway, what was I at? So ClickFunnels, started copying the sales.
Hadn't had a win in a while.
And I was looking at the order forms, right? And like the order form on the page I was copying was like the most popular one that was like, there was like different options for quantities, and like the typical direct response thing was like buy 3, get 2 free. And it was like $145. So it's like 5 flashlights for $145. And that's the most popular. And then like one flashlight was like way down the list, and it was like $56 or something. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, how is that going to convert better than like having like the one flashlight at the top? Like, obviously that's going to work way better, right? But then I was like, you know what? Like, maybe these guys know something better than me, because these are the guys that are actually fucking making money. Like, I was looking at on SimilarWeb, I was looking at what their traffic was, and it was like over 1 million visitors a month and stuff like that. I'm like, it's working. Like, whatever the fuck these guys are doing, it's working. So I was like, all right, I'll do the same model. So I did that, started running some Facebook traffic in Australia, and I got some conversions, and I was like, okay, like, it lit a little bit of a spark. I was still like, we're way in debt. Like, I'm not, like, I don't have money to test Facebook ads right now, but I chucked in like $100, $200, maybe more in testing. I did like Facebook, Google, and I did like YouTube ads. Okay. Right? I was just like testing everything. Like, I'll see what fits. And then, so like started getting some conversions, and then I didn't even have stock. So I was like, I got to fulfill this order. Like I got like 2-3 conversions. Like I got to fulfill these. So I already had found suppliers. I use Alibaba.com for the most part. You usually have to buy high quantities with suppliers from there, but it's really easy because like they have English speaking sales reps. Anyway, there's all different ways to source products. I just like using Alibaba. It works for me. I found a flashlight supplier. I got in like so at this point I literally had like $500 left on this credit card, So I bought like $300 worth of flashlights, and we're still making sales with this tea business. So it was still like dripping in some money like here and there, but essentially we're down to like definitely under $1,000 at this point, right? And that's it. And like I was literally like a month behind on my rent for my apartment.
And there's tax bill looming.
And that was like $3,000. Like I can't even pay that. And then there's a tax bill looming. All this shit, right? So I'm like, we'll fuck. So anyway, I get these flashlights in, like unbranded, just this little like white box, like crappy fucking thing. But they were there, fulfill the orders. And I just kept looking into how these guys were getting traffic. I'm like, where are they advertising? How are they doing it? And then all the tracking links and stuff, it was all like affiliate, like through affiliate networks and stuff. Like I just like figured that out. So I was like, hang on. I'm like, these guys are just like, these are all affiliates running. So I must have an affiliate program. So I found the affiliate program, had a look at like which networks they were on and how that was all working. Yeah. And then, so I started reaching out to networks. And when I did that, I had like an Australian and US version of this funnel. I started reaching out and they were like, cool, like the flashlight stuff, like that's been done, right? Like this wave happened fucking 3 years ago. Like, you know, you're 3 years late to the party. And I was like, okay, right. So I was like, don't, like, maybe this is all failing. But then there were like, there was multiple networks. They're like, but in like France and in LATAM, so like Argentina and stuff right now, like it can work. It can work really well. Can you do something like that? And I was like, well, yeah, like we've been like doing international fulfillment for the last 2 years. Like, yeah, I don't see why not, right? Like it can work. So this network, and I won't mention the name of the network, but it was like the guy that owned this network doesn't exist anymore. Is like has a pretty bad reputation in the industry. Okay. I didn't know this at the time, and he was like, man, if you can build me like a Spanish translated version of this funnel for LATAM, and if you can fulfill there and all this stuff, is like I can get you like 200-300 sales a day, you know? And I'm like, wait, He's like 200-300 a day. And I was like, clicks or sales? And he was like, sales. And I was like, oh shit. Like, okay, this like, you know, average order value is like $140 or something. I'm like, that's some decent fucking, you know, this is what we need right now. So, he's like, can you do this? I'm like, yeah. So what happened was, within like 48 hours, I had a fully professionally translated sales funnel in Spanish and the sales customer service rep, Spanish customer service rep ready to go. Luckily, because one of my best friends who I share an office with owns a translation company and they do accredited. So he has experience like translating websites and doing it right and making sure it all works. And that was actually, that was a big part of how we've been successful with all these like international e-commerce is like super fucking good translations.
Yeah. Fully localized, culturally specific.
Yes. And a lot of people use like these little like freelancer websites for translations and like you're getting like really poor quality stuff done. It's just not going to convert.
And as soon as you can tell, it's not like you read anything that's in like English or something, right? You can tell.
What's hilarious is like affiliates would translate our like French funnel for like our flashlight brand. It was Lumify flashlights. So they'd translate that into English and then like run it in Australia. And then I'd see the ads and the English is so poor. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like just like, that's what is hilarious. This? Yeah. And we never got those conversions because like, it just wouldn't work. But anyway, so within like 48 hours, I messaged this guy at the network back. I'm like, here you go. And he was like, whoa, like that was fast. And I was like, yep, let's do this, you know? And then, so like we got it all uploaded and he was like, oh, so can we do like sub ID tracking? And I was like, what? Google. Yeah. What's a sub ID? And then like, I'm reading all the shit and I'm like, I kind of still don't get it. I'm like, not really, man. And he's like, oh yeah, it's like just place this pixel on your confirmation page then. I'm like, all right, cool. Did that. And then he's like, yeah, traffic should start in like 2-3 days. I'm like, sweet. And then like, I call my business partner. I'm like, dude, I'm like, this all happened actually like when he reached out and we had this whole conversation, it was like midnight. I was like at home, curled up on my couch and the laptop and I saw the Skype message and I was like, I was just about falling asleep and I was like, thinking like, yeah, I'll message him back in the morning. And I'm like, wait, no. Like, I'll sleep when I'm fucking dead. Like, I'm doing this shit now. So like, I started it was like 4 a.m. that night, like getting everything ready. And then I'm like, fuck this. Like, we're doing it. So anyway, call my business partner. I'm like, dude, like, it's done. It's fixed. Like, we're set. Like, it's not a problem, right? Like, just get ready. And he's like, what do you mean, blah, blah. Like, just get ready, you know? And then, so we wait like a week, no traffic. I message him again, no traffic. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this guy's probably talking shit. I don't know, but I was like, damn it. But it gave me enough drive to like keep pushing. So, So I kept trying to run traffic myself, and then reached out to some more networks, and then ended up with affiliates.
Okay.
So like those guys, like
yeah, friends of the 6-week affiliate mastery challenge, affiliates. Big shout out.
There you go. No, they're awesome guys. So they were like, yeah, like I'm like, here I got the Spanish version, like can do a French version. I'm like already on it, so like doing the French version. We upload all the offers, and yeah, like literally within a week, like we just started getting sales, and it started at like 10 sales a day for like a few days, and 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, 300, like just, it was insane.
With
right?
those AOVs of 150, 100 bucks?
$150,
wow.
Yeah. So like we'll make, like from the start, we're making like $10,000 a day almost, you know, like within that first few weeks of testing. And I was like, holy shit. And like one of my best friends who I live with is like a housemate. He was like, he went away like the day I started, the day traffic was supposed to start. He went on this trip. He came like 5 days later and he called me. He's like, hey, how did the flashlight thing? I'm like, dude, we've done like $60,000 in sales. He's like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, wait, what? Like, how is this even possible? And then, yeah. And then, so that was like April. No, when was that? Like, yeah, like maybe June, July, by the time I started getting traffic. All this started like January 2015.
15, okay.
Yeah. Or 16. I'm so bad at dates and time. It's fucking ridiculous. I think it was 15. Anyway, and then, so we ended up like, basically, where was that? I lost my train of thought now.
60 grand in 5 days.
60 grand in 5 days. Yeah. All right, cool. So then as we led to like November, December, like we're like, can we do like the Netherlands? Can we do this? Can we do that? Blah, blah, blah. And like all these other networks are hitting me up.
Do you have proper affiliate tracking at this point yet? Or are you still just relying on the networks?
I got Cake. I got Cupcake. The basic, Cake Basic or whatever they call it. It used to be called Cupcake.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then I switched to the full version. But like, yeah, so then I figured out the whole tracking thing and all that. And it was all good. And tons of networks hitting us up, tons of affiliates hitting us up, and we just kept scaling. Like we went from like my business partner was fulfilling these flashlights from his garage, like at the start, and then like within a month we went and like rented a warehouse.
In Melbourne?
In Melbourne, yeah. Rented a warehouse. We started getting like really good rates with DHL Ecommerce, which is like the Australian DHL. Well, they're worldwide, but it's for like exporting, so it's like only international.
Okay.
So we ended up being their number one, like their biggest client in Australia. So it was pretty funny because they actually send all of their products like from Sydney to their like destination country, and then like from there they use like the local like country's like postal system. So what happened was like they were telling us that like we actually had to like get another truck onto our fleet just to handle your shit because like going from Melbourne to Sydney, they couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're sending like 7 to 8 pallets a day, like out of our warehouse. It was crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. So like this all happened. Like we had to hire, I think at the time it was like 3 or 4 guys working 6 days a week, purely just like packing orders. Right. And this all had to happen within a month.
Yeah.
Right.
So what do you account for this? Is this that like, how come were these other, because it was a 3-year-old trend or whatever, had those other businesses just not really tried to crack this market? Or was it just that the appetite there was so insatiable that it was just like, a lot of people were going to these other markets?
To be honest, like there was a lot of, like, are you talking about like competitive flashlight brands?
Yeah.
There was a few. There was like 3 or 4
How come this did so
time.
well for you? Like how come international markets hadn't been cracked?
A lot of the guys a lot of advertisers come into the space and they can do well for like a couple of months and then they get merchant problems and they disappear.
Yeah.
Internationally, it's hard because packages take like 3 weeks or so, sometimes more depending on customs, to get into the country. And then when that happens, like your chargeback ratio is higher, right? It's that simple. So you can't really rely on like standard like PayPal or whatever like this. So what we did is like we built like a really good relationship with a bank in Australia and like explained everything we're doing, exactly how we're doing it, and they were like really good with what we had to give them like a ridiculously high reserve to be able to process the transactions that we did.
Okay.
But it just we're just like really open, transparent, like we're not scamming anyone, like this is what we're doing.
And this came from the previous business you had built, like came from you understanding that aspect of having to take care of that.
Well, actually, what came from the other business was more about like customers matter and like making sure we actually looked after our customers. That's the other thing. Like a lot of advertisers come in and it's like they're used to being like, I don't know, like affiliates, or they just want to do this like online stuff and not deal with humans.
Churn, exactly.
But I mean, customer service for us with like the T brand and all that was like our like KPI on that was like 100%. Like every customer has to be 100% satisfied no matter what.
Yeah.
Every email has to be responded to within 24 hours, things like that. So that's why it was so important. That's why I had like so much customer service like backing set up before we even launched the traffic. Like before I gave the okay to the affiliate, it was like, no, we need to make sure that like every customer is happy. Every customer is not happy at this scale.
No, it's impossible.
And with international long shipping times and stuff, it's definitely impossible. So I'll get to how the flashlight thing went down in a moment. Okay. It's related to that. But so anyway, so yeah, it was just great. Like literally, like within a month, we go from fulfilling from a garage to having 4 staff packing full time, 6 days a week, biggest DHL client in Australia. Yep. All this shit. I'm dealing with all these affiliate stuff. My business partner's doing all the like hiring all these customer service reps. We needed like French, Spanish, German, Italian, and I'm just building funnels, like just new funnels, like new landing pages, new everything. And all we needed to do is like, I think our international stuff was converting better than the competitor stuff, and I think a lot of it to do was with good translations.
Yeah.
And having the cap, like our merchant facilities allowed us to do like almost unlimited caps. So we gained a lot of affiliates, and then there was a few flashlight guys that kind of came in and out and had periods where they had to pause. When they paused, a lot of those affiliates came to us. They already had everything worked out, so they just switched their branding from whatever it was to our branding, and just scaled hard. So then in December and January, we were doing about $1 million a week in revenue. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, I think our record day, like I was in New York. I was in New York and I was like logged in and we're checking in, like it was scaling so hard and we were doing like $100,000 days, and I was like, fuck man, I went from like literally like $600 or whatever, like just stressing the fuck out. Yeah. And I'm like, now we're doing 6-figure days. And I was like, when I started the whole thing, when I was like in that like give up stage of my life, I'm like, I either give up completely because this feels like shit, or like the only way to stop feeling shit is like fix it. I'm like, I want to do 10 grand a day. Like if I can do $10,000 a day, I'm like, that's like my aim, to do it consistently with like at least a 50% margin or whatever. That was like kind of where I was at. And then, I guess like don't aim low. Like definitely like whatever you think you should be making, like times that by 10 and make that your goal. Cause like now, like anything under $100,000 a day, I feel like I'm failing, which sounds so fucked up. But it's true. I mean, that's what happens. Like, I literally feel like if I'm doing under $100,000 a day, I'm like, shit, like I'm underperforming here. Like, we need to step up our game. We need to do something. And our margins aren't great. Like, we're not doing 50% margins. Like, we're like, I always aim for like a 20% margin. Lately, it's probably been a little bit less than that. But if 20% is like safe, and I feel like that's like a business that can run, anything less than that, I will cut that offer.
So had you formed Direct Offer Club at this point?
Cool. No. So that was just Lumify flashlights at the time. And then what started happening was almost 90% of the traffic we were getting was from Taboola and Outbrain. Right? And what happened was the main, like the premium publisher sites that these ads were running on were receiving complaints about customers like emailing like whatever the fucking MSN is of France, saying, haven't received my order, this is a scam, blah, blah, from like multiple flashlight brands. And eventually what happened was like Taboola and stuff were like, well, we're going to have to knock these off these premium sites. So they started like stopping them serving on those sites. And then that like dropped significantly. Yeah. And then it kind of picked up again and things were figured out. And then it got to the point like maybe a few months later where Taboola was like, all right, in the next week, we're banning all flashlight campaigns. Doesn't matter what the brand is, doesn't matter anything. Like if it's like 0 flashlights across the whole network. And we're just like, fuck. So they did that in France first. It wasn't worldwide. So like France went down and that was like 60% of our revenue. Like, damn it, like whatever. I was happy, right? I was like, you know what? Like even months earlier, I'm like, if this shit stops now, I'm happy. Like
it was a win.
It's a win.
Big fucking win.
I'm like, I'll figure out the next thing. Like I've got enough money now to like at least like get us by. Like I'm not stressed about it. I can take my time.
I've been through this. I've been through the low already.
Exactly. Yeah, and it didn't really faze me. I was like, you know what? Good. Like we literally dropped 60% of our revenue overnight, and I was like, okay, we did all right. And then, but then other countries picked up, so then we started running them in other countries and kept doing that, and then eventually like it all kind of died down, and then now. I'll talk about Direct Offer Club in a moment, but I'll talk about the flashlight game right now in the affiliate space. The reason why we do right now, we're probably doing 20 to 30 conversions a day on flashlights. That's it.
Yeah.
And the reason is there's other flashlight offers in the space that affiliates are making much higher EPCs on.
Because they're more aggressive, or because...
Aggressive is an understatement.
Yeah.
Right? So what's happening is, and this is where I have, everyone has their own boundary, moral boundary, right? Where they draw a line. And there's no right or wrong. Mine might be here, yours might be there or there or whatever, right? So I'm not judging anyone for doing whatever they do. But the way the flashlight offers are set up right now is way above where I cut it, right? So
continuity or something.
Well, yeah, it's continuity, but it's so it's the whole diet thing, but with
who needs monthly flashlights?
It's not even that. It's nothing. So okay, so I won't say the brand name or anything, but the guys that are doing 600-700 conversions a day right now, good on them. Honestly, good on them. They're making it work and they're making it last. So it's good, right? But essentially, you buy the initial offer. It's one flashlight, I think, and it's $39, and you get a battery and a little kit or whatever. And then so once you've purchased, the next upsell is a batteries or whatever. It's fine, no problem, straight sale. The next upsell is join our VIP club, and it's there's VIA club memberships. You get discounts on other products. It's $8 or $9 a month. It gets built to your card. If you tick no on that, if you actually say no to that, you still get subscribed. Tested this thoroughly.
Yeah.
And then and then you get to the next page, which is your confirmation page. All good, but on that confirmation page, it's actually, I don't even think they mentioned this on the confirmation page. They may or may not, but when you get your confirmation email, it's there's also $9.95 for shipping, which is not mentioned anywhere else.
Yeah.
And there is also an $8 something tax, right? Which is not mentioned anywhere, right? And then so they're doing the whole merchant account rotating thing, multiple transactions, blah, blah. So applying that whole model, and it's working for them, good for them. We can't keep up with that.
And your line is a little bit different.
Morally, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, good for them. And I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah.
I think even just a month ago, there's a massive issue with a whole bunch of mid accounts getting shut down for that type of shit with Neutro and all that. But yeah, so I guess that so from there, we were even months before this, we're we need to be doing other products and repeating this model with other things. So we started building all these other brands, and we had Think Smart breathalyzers in France that did really well. We had these electronic lighters, you see, there's arc lighters. We did that. We did TV streaming boxes. We've done right now we're doing Nomad backpack, which is an anti-theft backpack. We've had universal wrenches and tools and all these different things, and they've all done quite well. Some of them fail. A lot of them that we test won't work, but the ones that work they do well. It's good. So then I was hang on, this is just a mess. I've got this cake tracking software. It's kind of Lumify branded, and we've done all these things, and affiliates and affiliate networks kind of know us as Lumify, but then they kind of know we have other stuff.
Yeah.
I was let's just make Direct Offer Club, and just we're just a direct e-commerce advertiser building offers for networks and for affiliates.
And that's what's different. This was what was so interesting when you came to Facebook Elite Retreat, is you're you kind of come full circle in a way, because most people that I know of anyways think of getting into this business by building stores, running traffic, figuring out that whole thing.
Yep.
You kind of came into it with the affiliate strategy, and now you're realizing, okay, rather than relying on affiliates, let's build an internal team as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, so having an internal team is really good in the sense that we can really fiddle with different pricing models and test.
Yeah, and test your funnels more. You can,
exactly.
You can,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that, and then so on top of that, one big mistake, not really mistake, it was more just we just didn't have the resources and time to do it, but we didn't even have retargeting, internal retargeting set up on all this traffic, right? So we're getting we got media buyers spending $10,000-$15,000 a day, multiple on these offers. So we're getting tons and tons of traffic. All we needed to do was place a Facebook pixel, set up some retargeting campaigns, would have made a fuck ton more money, would have had good audiences, all that shit. So that we're building out now, and I'm trying to hire more people and do more things to allow me to have time to actually really sit down and figure out Facebook native. I just want to really dedicate my personal time learning that. again, it's like that whole thing where like, yeah, okay, you can hire someone to kind of do this, but I just want to do it myself first.
Yeah.
Learn it, and then once I've figured it out and optimized it, I'll hire people to do it my way. So working towards that now. Having internal team, internal media buying, running our own offers.
Nice.
But yeah, and then I guess this kind of brings us to like the next topic that we wanted to talk about, which is like, where is e-commerce going?
Yeah.
Where is like performance-based e-commerce going?
Exactly. So when we're planning e-commerce mastery live right now, the big event in Barcelona on July 20th. And we're sort of like, the way we see it, there's multiple ways you can sort of take the e-commerce is just means buying shit online.
Yeah.
And so there's all sorts of ways you can do that. The one way is what like the Tans and Muhammad Ali Agel do, which is like it's the store game, right? It's it's the store game where you're not really focusing on a brand necessarily.
Yeah.
You're trying a lot of products and you're building up that aspect. Then there's what you've done, which is kind of like that, but with affiliates. Yeah. There's building brands out yourself. And then there's just running stuff like your affiliates do. There's just running stuff rather than building fulfillment centers and customer service teams and translation teams. You just basically get really good at running ads to other people's products who've already figured all this stuff out.
Yep.
So,
exactly
so I'm curious. So there's a lot of stuff happening in e-commerce. There's a lot of news about what's happening with the news feed and the way how drop shippers is getting harder and harder for their businesses. So that's what we've spent a lot of time talking about while you've been here, is like where you feel the future of e-commerce is. So riff on that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll just say like straight up now, like I don't know the actual answer to it. Like I don't think anyone really knows like the actual answer.
Yeah.
But like long term, like 10 years from now, like who knows, right? But what we do know is like 10 years from now, like offers, like a lot of popular offers on these networks, like outside of e-com, like all these sweepstakes and all these like Nutra stuff and all this shit, like
cloaking.
I don't really know if that's going to be around in the next 10 years. And I know like if you look back, right, like that's been around forever. And there's always been these talks of like, this shit's going to stop. Like there's all these new algorithms coming out.
Affiliate marketing is dead.
And like there's always going to be a way. Like hackers will always find a way to like break through, right? Every single time. But I do think that we're at a point, in the next 2 years or so, like up until now, like machine learning and AI stuff like wasn't a thing, and like biometric, like you got your fingerprint readers on phones, you got face recognition now with the new iPhone and stuff like that. This shit wasn't a thing back then. Like I know like Facebook, I actually just read an article, like Facebook just acquired a company, like a biometric like facial recognition company, right? So it's like, well, these like farmed accounts and stuff eventually not be possible, and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
she's like,
because they're investing in AI, but they're also investing in humans, like a huge, like their revenues or their costs are going way up because they're hiring so many more people to get on this physically, and then building AIs around what they're learning.
Exactly right. Yeah. So I feel like it is going to get to a point where it is like it'll overtake, right?
Yeah.
Like machine learning and AI shit, like we won't be able to keep up with that. And then that's like on the running traffic side, but then on the affiliate side, like as well, like if you're doing all this like merchant, like cascading, and if you're like rotating mids and load balancing and all that sort of stuff, and like doing this dodgy shit, I mean, like Visa and MasterCard and stuff, like all that shit's getting cracked down on as well, right?
Yeah.
Like that, I don't see that really being a thing in 10 years from now.
Okay.
Right?
But now talk about drop shipping. Talk about even the very basics of people wanting to jump into e-commerce now.
Okay, so I'll get to e-commerce. That was just more just like the shitty network stuff, right? But like e-com. So everyone's now like kind of stressing out, and they're like, we need to like build brands, and this dropshipping thing's fucked, and affiliates are like, wait, I'm an affiliate, I do like CPA stuff, and then I don't own the customer or anything, and then like ads are getting more expensive. And they're like, shit, I need to build my own store and I need to build my own brand.
Yeah. So you can own your audience better. And,
yeah. So like that's the kind of general vibe I'm getting now from the whole industry, is like that's where people are kind of freaking out, and they're like, all these affiliates that are doing black hat or anything, even running e-commerce offers, like, shit, no, I need to build my own stores and like do all this myself. Now, okay, so I think what the most important thing is, like the primary goal of the e-commerce space right now is lifetime customer value. That doesn't mean branding, right?
Necessarily, no.
So branding is like one method or one tactic or thing that should be applied to lifetime customer value.
Yeah.
But really, like if like at the end of the day, everyone's like, oh shit, you need a brand. It's like, no, you need the lifetime customer value, and a brand could or could not be part of that.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right. So this is on the advertiser side, by the way. I'll get to affiliates in a moment and why they don't need to stress. So as an advertiser or as a store owner, if you are building, if you're building out a store and you're getting customers, you need to make sure, like, one, like the biggest problem with low quality e-commerce right now is shipping times, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why customers are unhappy is shipping times. 90%.
Yeah.
Right. Product quality, for the most part, if you're doing it right, like customers are happy with their products.
Yeah.
They just don't want to wait a month for it to arrive. And they want to be somewhat like, they want to have like a nice package or something, right? Like, it doesn't mean you need a brand. It just means like, give them a good experience, right?
Yeah.
Like they might be well aware they're getting a little tech gadget product from China, but they just want it to arrive quickly and they want it to work well. And the working well part, like for the most part, like with us, we test every single product before we sell them. So like we'll get multiple samples in, we'll find the best one, make sure the pricing works.
And you have such a good experience with your producers and stuff like that as well, that you can trust them more or less.
Yeah, exactly, right? So you just got to make sure you sell stuff that's like as advertised. Definitely as advertised. So don't be too aggressive. And then it's honestly like it's 90% shipping times.
Yeah.
And communication, like we respond to all customer service emails within 24 hours. Like it's a must.
Yeah.
And if you can keep that customer happy on the first time they buy, then you need to work on like how to keep selling to that customer, or like with your emails, with your Facebook list and stuff like that. If that's the case, you're going to do well. I believe that if like in the next 2 years or so, like the way media spends are going, like Facebook ads are saying it's going up 30% a year and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, if that is the case, then it will get to the point for sure where you're not going to make a profit off your first sale.
That's interesting.
Right? It's just not going to happen. The only way e-commerce and direct response will make money is like making money off existing customers that have been happy.
Yes.
Right? So, and again, I'm not saying you have to build a brand. It's good to build a brand, but like you need to somewhat be able to resell to these customers.
In a way, do you need a brand? Because if you're going to sell, because there's some products that you need more of again and again, but there's other ones where you want to be like, hey, another great product from Ronco or whatever, exactly. Right? So it's like that in that way, I can see a brand being beneficial.
Exactly right. Yeah. So like it just depends how much dedication you want to like focus on like the brand name and stuff. But as essentially you want to get that lifetime customer value up. So
that's
having a brand is good. But
you don't do that though. You're not like direct offer club to consumers, right?
No. We have like gadget tech trends. That's like one of our sites. So like we play on that because most of our offers like are sold through gadget tech trends. So we can kind of like have a centralized...
Nice, and have a newsletter for new products on the gadget tech trends.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So there's like somewhat of brand building, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean shit unless your customers are super happy. And, So again, it's like everything you do, like the goal should be lifetime customer value. And that's where, like in this space, affiliates right now are kind of scared because like ad spends are going up and like these are the CPAs and then we're not going to make profit anymore, right? So they're freaking out. Like we've got to get into dropshipping and shit. Well, it's like, no, like... The affiliates don't actually need to stress at all. It's the advertisers and the store owners that need to stress because they need to make sure that they can afford to buy customers and then make money off them. Right?
That's right.
Whereas all that means is in the affiliate space, affiliate guys running ecom and lead gen or whatever it is, they will be getting paid higher because advertisers like us, right? You think about it, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about because I was wondering if you're trying to say that you're not going to make money off the first purchase, how are affiliates ever going to make money? But you got to go up the chain to do the advertisers.
Affiliate marketing will always exist, right? It's like their media buyers. Like if they just like they focus on the media buying and then we focus on running the business and making that money on the back end. That's what the whole thing's all about, right? So the people that need to stress are like me, right? Not the affiliates, because all that happens is like in 2 years from now, let's say I've got this current setup and I'm paying a $60 CPA like per conversion on this. I need to be able to pay $80. That's the stress.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I pay $80, that affiliate's going to make money.
Yep. Right? And so he'll keep running and run volume.
Right? And if I don't pay $80 and then some other e-commerce guy is like doing it better and he can afford to spend $80, I lose.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm fucked. The affiliates are fine because there's going to be someone that does it, right? There's going to be multiple people that do it. So like the affiliates have no problem.
And so affiliates need to find advertisers who have their back end sorted out. Exactly. In a way, right?
Yeah, which will happen, right? Yeah. So like they'll be on networks, they'll be around, like it'll be a thing. So affiliates don't need to stress. Just keep doing what you're doing. Focus. If you want to be a media buyer and you don't have to worry about fucking merchant processing and customer service,
fulfilling in your garage,
all that stuff. Yeah. If you don't want to do that, then you don't. If you're a media buyer, just keep buying media. Be good at it. Be the best at it, so that when times change, you have that competitive edge.
Yeah.
And then the e-commerce guys, like, there'll be a few that will follow.
Yeah.
They have to, right? This is part of like adapting to the whole process, is like making it clean. If you can get a good lifetime value out of that customer, like even if you're losing $20 on that sale, like eventually you're going to make that money back down the track. So yeah, it's us that need to stress, not the affiliates.
Super interesting. Do you ever think about like, are you an affiliate network yourself? Or do you just always rely on other affiliate networks?
Well, we rely on other affiliate networks, but we also have like our own little direct offer club. Like it's our own little affiliate network, I guess. We don't run other people's offers. Like we don't have anyone else's stuff on our network.
It's just your stuff.
It's purely our own e-commerce products. So every time there's a new product, we build a sales funnel and offer out of that product. And then we do multiple geos, and then we put that out to the affiliates that run our stuff.
Increasingly, you test it yourself as well.
Well, now we're starting to do that a lot more and more. We have really good relationships with a few guys that actually, since Elite Retreat. Nice. Yeah, definitely. That was like the most, I'll talk about that later, but Elite Retreat, like this mastermind that iStack set up, it was like, probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life, in terms of like just realizing like, there's always like different stepping stones. It's like I got to a point now where I kind of been like, oh yeah, cool, we're like successful, we're doing this, we're doing that. Then I came to Elite Retreat and I was like, hold on, like, everything I'm actually like, what happened after this mastermind, like I went home and I was like, I'm more than happy to not make any money for the next 6 months. Like I'll literally shut down the whole business. I'll just like fire everyone, shut down the whole business, we're done, and start from scratch and just build things up the way I want to do it to like scale harder. Wow. Like that's where I was at. I was like, I don't even care. Like I want this, and we're here right now, and we need to change so much shit. So like I want to take a step back and build this properly.
Interesting.
It was really good. Wow. Really good. Highly recommended.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah. So, where was I at? So yeah, we run as like a direct affiliate network.
Yeah.
And we have,
but it's not a big focus for you.
It actually is. Yeah. It's definitely a big focus. So there's two things we're focusing on. Like one is obviously like making sure our customers are happy.
Yep.
We're doing some crazy stuff with logistics right now, so that we can pretty much like ship to like any main country that we sell to, like within 4 or 5 days. And so like getting all that set up, getting that customer satisfaction like back to the level of like what it was when we had a brand. Like we want like less than 1% of people complaining. Like we want to like really nail that, and then and be able to like nurture these customers and make money off them, because like I said, in 2 years time, me paying $60 per offer, like I'm gonna need to be paying $80 per offer.
Yep.
To keep these affiliates happy.
So you got to keep your customers happy, and you got to sell to them over their lifetime.
Exactly right. The other stress affiliates have right now in the whole space is like they feel like there's all this talk of like, oh, if you're an affiliate, like it's not a real business. Like you're just getting that CPA again. Like you don't own the customer, you don't actually own anything. Yeah. You're not doing anything.
You're renting rather than owning.
You're renting rather than owning, right? So there's affiliates like shit. Like no, I need to build my own business. Like I need to. That's why they're getting into dropshipping. It's like I need to have this, something that can like grow and nurture and roll. But there's two things with that. Like it's a good idea, right? But one, like, unless you're buying media on that thing, it's going to fail anyway, right? Yeah. Like how many people you talk to with a dropshipping business that you say, if you turned off all your ads right now, are you going to be making money in 6 months?
No.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that's one. But what I was getting at is like affiliates, like them, your media buyers, right? So like, who's to say you can't build a media buying business?
Yeah.
Right?
An agency,
right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like a media buying team, like some of the affiliates are doing right now, like they start off as an affiliate themselves, and then they hired 1, 2, 3 people. They have a whole team, like a whole media buying team that know direct response, right? Yeah. That is a business, right? So in 2 years' time from now, when like people are struggling to make money online because everything's so expensive and they don't know shit about buying anything online, how valuable is that going to be?
Yeah.
Right? Like you being able to say like, hey, we can like support like big budgets, right, for your store or for whatever it is you're doing, and we'll make it profitable.
Or for whatever big brands move into performance marketing, right? And that's the big thing we talk about all the time is performance marketing and the rising tide. Yeah. And if you're an expert performance media buyer, that's a good.
It's like you should be building a media buying business. Like you don't have to get into like whatever offer you're running. You don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
And then run that. I mean, you can. It's good. Like do it. Like whatever. Like we run a very successful e-commerce store as an advertiser. It's definitely just that's where I'm at. But what I'm saying is, and that's only because I don't know how to buy media. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
If you're a good media buyer and that's what you like doing, build a media buying company.
And there's other assets you can build within there. One of my favorite example.
Sell that company. I can't sell my company.
Well, look
right
at Straw
now.
House. Look at Straw House. Straw House has built $80 million, or they did $80 million in 3 years or whatever, and they've done it on media buying. They basically run offers. They were, they ran Tracker, and now they're building. I won't let the cat out of the bag too much, but they're building media buying tools that allowed them to do these amazing things. If you can build technology around media buying and the nexus of and media buying and e-commerce, that's an incredibly saleable asset.
Definitely.
You know,
exactly right. So like it's such a misconception, right? It's like, oh, I'm an affiliate. Like, I don't.
So chill out, affiliates.
Chill out, relax. Like, build a fucking media buying company. Like, that's going to be the most valuable, like, in this whole online space, the most valuable people in 2 years now when everyone's stressing the fuck out are the ones that can still do it.
Amazing. I wanted to ask you, do you still, like, you're almost all direct response at this point, but do you still invest anything into in the influencer space for any of your brands?
No. No. Something that's on the agenda for 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
So there's like little niche brands I want to build out as well, like the way we're doing things. If it's a particular product that I like, that it's in like a niche I like right now we're doing this like Nomad backpack, and it's like an anti-theft travel backpack, which made me think like maybe I should build like Nomad into like a little travel brand, and we can do like different accessories for travel and digital nomads and stuff like that, which is something I'm passionate about.
Yeah, you are one.
So it was like, this could work, you know. Now we're getting traffic in through direct response, and then we can like probably nurture these people and build out a social media influencer stuff and like get back into that whole space. Human resources are tight right now, so like that's kind of hard. Like it's probably going to take a bit of time. But
how many full-time employees?
That would be a passion. Full time, 1, 2, 3. There's probably about 5 full timers, and then there's a bunch of.
It's incredible revenues probably
remote,
for the amount of.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of like remote customer service reps and stuff like that. So it's actually funny. Like my business partner does all the operations of the business. So like he manages like our warehouse staff, our customer service teams, everything. He deals with all the suppliers at this point. And I literally just build funnels and try and get like traffic in. Yeah. So like he'll be hiring and mixing people around. I don't even know their fucking names at this point. Like some of them, like I don't even know who they are.
And that's a good lesson too about just sort of like splitting your focus into what you're good at, and just having a partner you trust, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, we've been.
Is this the same partner?
This is the same partner. So we went to high school together, and then we started our first like TV installation business together, and like it's been that journey the whole time. Nice. So like normally I would say like don't have a business partner. Yeah. In the sense that like a lot of business partnerships fail, and usually a lot of like this is the whole thing. But in this particular case, like we're always on the same wavelength. We have the same goals, outcomes, and like. He's like fucking super smart. He's like 10 times smarter than I am. I'm just a fucking hustler. Like I just don't give up. But he's like super smart and switched on. So we have our like advantages, you know. Yeah. But separating things are like super key. With the Instagram business, we're doing the same thing most of the time. We'll just do the same thing but like double the output, which is like the dumbest thing ever. And the worst thing about that as well is like you have to separate operations from business development, because whoever's doing business development, and if they're also doing operations, the more like work they bring in, the harder their job gets, right? So like this isn't just for stuff. This is for yourself, like a psychological thing. Like back in the day, like when I first started the tea business, like I was the one fulfilling the orders. Yeah. So like every time we'd scale up, it's like shit.
There goes my fucking weekend.
Fucking work to do. Yeah. And like, which is good because it's exciting, but at the same time, like it's a barrier. Like it holds you back. And then when we outsourced that, it was like full force, like fuck it, I want to get as many as we fucking can. Yeah. Like I don't even care. Like I'm not even touching it anymore. You know what I mean? Like so, yeah. It's that operations and business development definitely needs to be separated, even if it's just you yourself.
Nice. Yeah. So I think we've actually. Is there any? We've gone long. This is usually we do about 40 minutes. We're over an hour, but in person, time just flies. Were there any other like key learnings you wanted to get out? Key learnings. Put you on the spot. I don't know. Like any other like. You've given away a ton of value in this. I think people just sort of like following your journey and understanding, and I think and what we've talked about affiliates is super interesting. In the space. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to like run your offers or whatever, what do you recommend? Yeah,
just get in touch with me. Just like send me an email, add me on Skype, Facebook, whatever you want. I basically live my life online, so I'm always there to have a chat. So just get in touch, and even if you just want to have a chat and talk about anything, if it's your own business or if you're an affiliate or whatever, just get in touch. We'll have a chat.
Nice. And you're going to be in Panama coming up?
I'll be in Panama, yep. So the Panama GBS Summit.
Nice.
I think it's their second one. They did the first one last year, and it was apparently a lot of fun and a lot of good stuff happening there. So should be great. Yeah,
very cool. And then you'll be in Barcelona as well, I believe.
I'll be in Barcelona for sure.
Nice. Yeah, can't miss Barcelona. Very cool. As a final thing, I want to say, what have you, like, not a lot of our audience probably has experienced Victoria, British Columbia, but what are your thoughts on spending a week in Victoria?
Honestly, like, Victoria is like one of my favorite cities in the world right now. Like, it's such a small little place. Like, I way prefer smaller cities over main cities. Main cities, like, they're all kind of the same.
Yeah.
This is this nice little unique flair to it, and it's like everyone's super nice.
And you've got into some adventures here.
We've definitely had some crazy adventures. So.
Ask James about those. You'll
have to message me about those. I can tell you in private message. Nice. But yeah, it's been amazing. But some key learnings, I guess. Like one thing, going from like being in a really shitty situation to sort of making it work, and this has happened like several times in my life, is like, I think one thing that's like super important if you're like starting out or trying to build something is like, or trying to even scale something, like let's say you're already successful and you want to make it to that next step, is like emotional leverage. So what I mean by that is like being in a position or purposely putting yourself in a situation where you don't have a choice. So like literally like back against the ropes or nothing. And I feel like a lot of people that have been successful in like all aspects, not just like this particular type of industry or anything, like whatever, like anything you want to do in life, like if you don't have a choice, like you are gonna make it work. You're going to pull through.
Yeah.
You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's like, and I do that, in a way I do that purposely. Like sometimes, like, it sounds stupid, but even when we're running a tea business, right? Like we would spend our profits, like we'd spend them on purpose because we're like, we want to make sure that we always have a little bit of financial, which is really fucking stupid. You actually probably shouldn't listen to this advice. It's so contradictory.
Put yourself in a bad situation.
Put yourself in a fucked up situation.
To make good things happen.
To make good things happen. And I, honestly, like, as weird as this sounds, like, I strongly believe that that's like the number one fucking key to making it work.
That's interesting.
Like, you either... It sucks,
but like, you do that yourself too. Like you're saying, like when you're not making 100K a day, you feel, and so like that scale changes.
So. I guess so. Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like
that sounds so pretentious.
No, no, I know.
But yeah, no, it's true.
But it's something that, and I think that's probably a tactic that you've developed. Like as your 100%. Success has raised, 100%, you change the scale of what feels like success, and that allows you to keep driving forward.
Exactly right. Like I have a friend right now, sitting in another room right there, right?
Nice, yeah.
Yeah. So he's trying to get into affiliate marketing and running all this stuff online. He wants to be able to travel the world and work off his laptop and all these things, right? Which is amazing. But he makes good money, right? He works a full-time job. He makes fucking awesome money.
Yeah, he's an electrician.
He's an electrician, right? In Australia, that's, if you're a qualified electrician, you're making good money. Like, you're making $80,000 to $100,000, like, anywhere.
And you're actually helping the world work.
Exactly.
Which is impressive.
You're building something real, So, anyway, so he's been trying, right? For a year now.
Yeah.
Right? Part-time, here and there. But it's not like he's not giving it 100% because it's like he knows like he's just going to go to work that week and get paid anyway, right? And then like he's not even spending that money on like the Facebook ads and stuff because he's like kind of scared or whatever. And it's
he's got that big safety net.
He's got that big safety net. Yeah, I like guarantee you, like this is a smart guy. Like like it's not that hard. Like a lot of these things that we all do, like it's not that hard.
Yeah,
it can all be figured out, right? It's not like fucking brain surgery.
But his back isn't against the wall.
Exactly.
And so he hasn't had that breakthrough yet. I guarantee if he quit
his job and like lost all his money, he has like all these like life savings, and I was like, dude, dump that shit into crypto or something and just fuck with it. And like best case, like, you make a whole bunch of money. Like worst case, you lose everything, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because then you're gonna have to fucking start again. You know what I mean? And you're gonna do it better. So like, yeah,
this
is probably the worst advice.
No, it's really interesting. Yeah. It makes my brother actually. He put a lot of energy into stand-up comedy. But he also has a wife and a kid and a successful job, and all of his friends doing stand-up comedy, and they're like, "You're a fucking tourist." He's like, because like to be a comedian, you've got to be desperately sad on the inside. You've got to be, you've got to have, you have too much going for you to be a good comedian.
Yes, that makes sense.
Because you're not like you're not living the the pain and the torture that comedians need. So
that they get,
it's a really interesting tip, and one you're not going to get maybe from any other podcast out there. So
I would say so, and probably not. So basically, like anything your accountant says or like a financial advisor tells you, go and do the exact opposite of that.
Dump it into crypto. Please don't listen to me.
Please don't listen to me.
Well, buy the dip, right?
Yeah, like me, like personally, that's what I do, right? Like even like my family's like, go buy a house, go do this. Like you've got all these profits, like go invest it in like something that's like solid. So like if everything fucks up, like you've got something to show for it. And I'm like, I don't want to have anything to show for it. I don't. I want to have tons of experiences.
Yeah.
And then if shit fucks up, which it probably fucking will, when it does, I want to be fucking in the same position I was, like curled up on my fucking couch. Right?
So that you can
I want to be there,
reborn again.
Exactly, right? And then just do it all over again. And like that's pretty much like I think that is like super fucking key. There's so many examples of it, right? You look at any successful person, ask them their story, they're in a position where they're fucked.
Amazing.
And look, it doesn't have to be that extreme, right? Like we were talking about there's a guy, Tim, the Australian guy that was at the mastermind with us.
Tim Caldwell?
Yeah.
Check him out on YouTube.
Check him out. Yeah, it's really cool. He's the funniest guy ever, right? So he was did this little video explaining how he did like from $0 to $1 million in 1 year on Shopify. And the way he did this is first he quit his job. He had $3,000. He took that and he went and traveled to Thailand. He was in Thailand, no job, $3,000, starting a Shopify dropshipping store. Loved travel, loved moving around, had no money, and he's like, this has to work. Right? He didn't try and do this when he had his job.
Yeah.
He fucking quit. And that's like a perfect.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.